I'm Eden.
And I'm Sal.
Welcome to the Stay Focused podcast, where we talk to business owners about their journeys and how they got started.
They share the best parts and the worst parts of business ownership, offer their business advice, and we get all of their funny mishap stories.
We do this podcast because your story matters, so stay focused.
Somebody had thrown a pack of sausages in there. You're hoping to find this gem that you read 25 years ago and you've never been able to find again. It's made reading cool again for a lot of young people, which I think is wonderful.
Welcome back to the Stay Focused podcast.
Today we have Keli with Second Chance Books, which is Lubbock's only local bookstore. And I think this is the most excited I've ever been.
Only because the bookstore has cats.
The bookstore has cats. There's 2 of them and they just like roam around. And I also love books.
But cats more.
Bookstore. Anyway, she had a lot of really good stories to share with us.
Yeah.
And she just is like a really caring person. And she really cares for her employees and all of her customers. And she had a lot of good stories. So
Don't buy new. Go buy used books. At Second Chance Books.
Okay, so Second Chance Books. I love that little store. I just think, I mean, without the cats, it wouldn't be complete. Let's be honest. I just love walking in there and like the vibes in there are just so like chill and comfortable. And then you have like a little cat just like sprawled out somewhere and you can pet them and it's just the best. It's just such good vibes.
Well, that makes me very happy because that's my goal, is to make it very comfortable and homey and chill and relaxing, you know.
Yeah, that's great. So, are you from Lubbock? Where are you?
I am. I've lived here my whole life.
Okay, awesome. So, did you imagine yourself staying in Lubbock your whole life growing up?
Pretty much. I'm kind of a creature of comfort, you know, and I just like to stay in my own little world, and I'm not real adventurous.
You get all your adventure from all the books you read.
Yeah.
You don't need to go anywhere else.
That's
you have it all at your fingertips.
Yeah. I've been wondering, like, how many books do you read, like, a year?
I set my goal at 45, but I usually do about 75.
Wow. I was expecting that to be like, I set my goal at 45. I usually do like 20 because that's how I end up being. That's amazing.
Wow.
I always set goals like that and then I read like a book every month or something.
I try to read books, but it doesn't go so well for me.
Yeah, and I get that. A lot of people, you know, they say they can't quite focus very well. And I tend to be that way with TV or movies, and I'll be watching something, and then I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, you know, 'cause my mind's wandering.
Yeah.
But when I read, I can focus and just get totally lost.
Yeah.
That's
in
awesome.
my book. And we have 3 book clubs, and so I have to read 3 books a month. Period.
Yeah.
For the book clubs,
Yeah.
and then to read my choice, you know, I have to squeeze them in between.
Yeah. Is that a book? Are those book clubs that like the store puts on that like anyone can join?
Oh yeah, anybody can join. We have a horror book club, which is definitely our most fun book club. It's our biggest one, and you know, it's a horror book, so it's not like none of our book clubs are super academic or anything like that.
That's good.
And that one we have a great time. And then we have our general book club, which, you know, is a wide variety of different books, which is a lot of fun because it'll make you read a book that you probably wouldn't have read on your own. And then you end up enjoying it. And you're like, oh, here's a whole new author type of book, you know, that I like. And then we have our brand new modern classics. And that was more for me because I'm like, I want to read a lot more of these.
Yeah.
But sometimes I have to be forced into it, you know.
So what kind of things do you read in that one?
Our next one will be on perfume by, it's a German author. I don't know how to say his name. But then we're going to read Lolita, which will be fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll do some more Steinbeck. I love Steinbeck.
Yeah.
And Kurt Vonnegut. Kurt Vonnegut's great.
I don't know who that is. What is...
He his books are kind of sci-fi. They're kind of wild, but
I like that.
He has a lot of social commentary, you know, in a very dark humor kind of way where you feel bad, like, I can't be laughing about war. But he writes it in a way where, you know, because he was a war veteran, and so he can write books like that, you know.
I like that because I like dystopias for that reason.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, this is dark, but it's also interesting, and it makes you think. Yeah, I really like stuff like that. So how do people join the book clubs?
Just come. We post the event, you know, with our upcoming books. We pick them 2 months in advance. That way I have time to order them. People have plenty of time to read them. And if you want, you know, if there's a book that you're like, oh, I want to read that, then read it and come join us. Yeah.
I want to do that.
It's a lot of fun. We have a great kind of core group, but we're very welcoming to everybody. Everybody's really nice. And
where do you guys post them?
On our Facebook page, Second Chance Books.
Okay. How often do you meet?
The horror book club is the second Friday of every month. The modern classics, the third Friday, and then the general book club, the fourth Friday. Okay. And they're all from 7 to 9 p.m.
Cool.
At the store.
That's so cool. I didn't know you guys offered that. I really like that a lot. Have you gotten, like, how many people do you usually get?
Oh, I would say we average between 8 and 12.
Wow,
which is a good size. Group. That way everybody can give their opinion on the book and it's not overwhelming, you know?
Yeah. So how long has Second Chance Books been open?
We've been open about 2.5 years. Is that right? We opened in December of 2021, and then I bought it in August of 22.
Okay.
So I've owned it for about 1.5 years.
Do you know how the name came about?
Just because it was secondhand books, and it was kind of, you know, we operate primarily on donations, so it's kind of giving them all a second chance, third chance, fourth chance, you know.
Would you ever rename it?
Oh.
No,
I never thought of that.
Probably not, just because I'm kind of lazy maybe, and there'd be a lot of work involved and have to get a whole new sign. And I'm like, no, I'm good.
And people know you.
Well, I know we talked about how it's hard because there's Second and Charles.
We have had people that
maybe they'll go
sometimes get it confused.
Yeah, you guys coming for you, Second and Charles.
Yeah,
or they'll leave at Second and Charles.
You and you're holding this book, and I'm like, I don't have a business
I'm actually
phone,
not.
so
Sorry,
you didn't call me, but you know.
Yeah, that's hard. Well, I was just wondering.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
What does your day-to-day look like? Your role at the company day-to-day?
A lot of times, you know, I'll be busy all day long, and I'm like, what did I actually do today? You know, I've been running around. I've been
You're just on autopilot.
Thinking so hard. But what have I actually done, you know? Because I enjoy being out in the store, you know, whether it's shelving books, you know, helping customers, talking to them. But it doesn't always work out that way. A lot of times I'm in my office doing paperwork, you know, or cleaning up the back area, running around, getting, you know, we have donation bins and, you know, I have to empty them and, you know, things like that where, you know, it's time to pick up my kids. I'm kind of like, I don't know what I did, what I actually accomplished, but.
I feel like that's kind of the typical business owner life though. Like,
I think
you're just running around.
You're just doing what needs to be done. Yeah,
exactly. And if I have a plan in mind, like, okay, tomorrow this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Ever
it
works out that way.
A joke. Yeah. A business owner saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do this tomorrow." No, that's definitely not gonna get done until next week. If you say it's gonna be done tomorrow.
Exactly.
So you guys work off of donations. Have you? I mean, surely. For the most part, people are respectful and give well-conditioned books and things, but Are there weird stories of like weird things being put in the donation pile?
There was one time,
Like any cats show up in there?
And I opened the bin and I'm like, what is that smell? Somebody had thrown a pack of sausages in there and they rotted. And I was angry the whole day.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
why would you do that?
Yeah.
What is wrong with people?
Okay, whoever
What is
you
wrong with
are,
people?
if you're watching,
Yeah.
why would you do
Sausages
that?
are not books.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Seriously.
Exactly. You suck.
Bring books
Very
next
rude.
time. So did it ruin all the books that were in
It
there?
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was
You couldn't
weenie
see-
juice,
yeah.
rotten weenie juice everywhere. And I'm barehanded. I was like, I need
that
to
was
go
the
home
worst.
and take a shower. It
I
was so
figured
gross.
since it's a donation
gross.
drop box, I'm like, I can only imagine because people are the worst. I
Yeah.
can only imagine that you had a story like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But luckily, it doesn't happen often.
Very
That's good.
Yeah. Ugh.
How do you decide, like, when there's not weenie juice everywhere? How do you decide what you're gonna put on the shelves?
Well, we have a great system, and it was actually developed by the original owner. That's more his passion, kind of the software end, the business end of things. And we go through every book that we get in, and assuming that the pages are intact, there's no ripped cover or anything, we'll run it through our system, with the ISBN, or we'll find the book online and run it through that way. And our system kind of determines, the value. I don't have control over the pricing.
Mm-hmm.
It's based on the online value. And I mean,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. And with the used bookstore, we're always happy to have the new releases, of course, 'cause that's what especially the younger people are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
The most popular authors, what they've heard about on Book Talk and everything.
mhm.
But then, if you go into a used bookstore, you're hoping to find this gem that you read 25 years ago and you've never been able to find again. And if we have it, it
That's cool.
makes me very happy.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
people find something that they've been looking for and that's a little more obscure than what you're going to find in a brand new bookstore.
I was able to do that. I read a book in 5th grade. Maybe, it could have even gone back to 2nd grade, which I'll have to pick your brain about one book later on. But it was called Miracle on Maple Hill. And I kept it, and then I let my daughter read it, and she started it and left it outside, and it got ruined. So I went and thankfully was able to find another one, but she got to read it and loved it, and she's in 5th grade, and so that was just kind of cool, a full circle 5th grade to her 5th grade moment.
That's
Sweet.
really cute.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about like maple trees, and it's just so pure and
Aw.
perfect, and the cover is fantastic. I don't know who wrote it, but it was very sweet.
That's
very
really
fun.
cute.
Yeah.
Aw.
That's
one?
the last time
Wait.
I read a book.
Which one?
Huh?
Which one was it?
Miracle on Maple Hill.
No, which kid was it that left it outside?
It was Peyton that left it outside.
Really?
Yeah.
Surprises me.
But she redeemed it by reading it through after I bought her brand new.
This is really weird, but my husband left a Bible at like camp one time outside for a whole year, and they returned it to him.
That's crazy.
And it's still intact. It's fine.
wow.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
No.
I think it was taken care of.
By the Lord.
Yeah. I mean,
Saved that Bible. So you
but,
can't
like-
read those pages that were left open in the sun all year, but that's fun. That's a good story too.
yeah, it was interesting. But then I was like, okay, but why? He has like 8.
Because his name was on it.
Yeah.
Returned to Levi Jones.
So, I want to go to a year and a half ago when you bought the business. What, when did you start that process, and like, why did you want to buy it?
I'd been working there just as an employee. I love books, and when I saw an advertisement, for a job opening, I applied, and he hired me, and I loved working there. And then and that had been his plan, get it up and going and make sure that his system worked well and then to sell it. And I knew that was his plan, but I was like, I don't have the money to buy the bookstore.
That's like a big life decision to just buy a store.
And one day we were talking, and I was like, well, do you have any potential buyers in mind? And he said, are you interested? I was like, are you kidding? And, we talked about it, and I thought about it, and it happened pretty quickly. I think we started talking about it in May, and then I bought it in August,
Wow.
So maybe not a lot of thought went into it. I was just like, yes, I want to own a bookstore with a cat.
Seems like,
with a cat.
It seems like that was meant to be, though.
That's how I feel.
It just, stuff like that kind of falls into your lap, and like when you know.
That's exactly how I think of it, too.
So the store came with a cat?
I won't go into that whole. It did come with a cat that got stolen.
Oh no!
And I was unable to get her returned.
Oh,
and so,
man, cat stealers and sausage
leavers.
Goodness,
they're the worst.
It's probably the same person, honestly, for both crimes.
You know what?
It might have been. Yeah,
that's so sad.
But then we went to, PetSmart and talked to, I forget which organization is which, with the cat rescue. And got Wilbur and Charlotte, and they're the perfect store cat.
Good.
So they got new homes and a new business, Wilbur's very proud of his job.
What are their positions?
Wilbur's pretty much the owner without all the stress of being the owner,
He tells you what to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then Charlotte, she provides a lot of emotional support to the employees. She's very cuddly and sweet and purry. But she's shy around the customer. She's much more elusive than Wilbur.
Yeah. I've probably only seen Wilbur then.
Probably. Charlotte's the calico.
Okay, yeah. I've never seen Charlotte in person, but I see her on your socials all the time, and I love it so much.
She is. She's very sweet, very cuddly. And then Wilbur, he, he's very amusing, very entertaining.
He's a boy cat.
He's a boy cat. Yeah,
I have a boy cat. They're an interesting breed.
Definitely. My daughter-in-law, my almost daughter-in-law, she works for me. And
awesome.
She is Wilbur's favorite person. And he'll look for her, out the windows. And when he sees her, he'll jump up on the window and start meowing. And they chase each other around the store.
That's so cute.
That's their morning routine.
I love that. Can we have an office cat?
Oh, come on.
It would get out.
Yeah, that's true.
People are coming and going in this office
all
constantly.
day long. And my cat likes to book it out the door, which is not good.
I know you had to lock him in when he was here. Okay, so you talked about scheduling your time and all of a sudden it's time for you to go get you said your kids, right? Do you have anyone that helps you schedule your time and take the rest of your shift when you have to leave, or what does that look like?
Well, I have my regular employees, and they're great. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to have the bookstore without my employees. And they have a set schedule, and they're very dependable,
Good.
And I kind of, I try to set myself a schedule, but, it doesn't always work out. And so, as, any working parent, there's always kind of 1 week, maybe you're killing it at work and you're like, yes, but then you're like, oh, but I kind of neglected my family.
Yeah.
And then the next week you're like, oh, this has been a great week. I got so much done at home and with my family.
Yeah.
But I'm neglecting work, trying to find that balance. And I don't think for me, there's a perfect balance. It's kind of week to week, and yeah. That's really, and I think it's a universal truth for anybody that works outside of the home.
No, we were talking about that yesterday. When you go home, turn it off, and that is so hard for business owners to do. Or like you said, sometimes I know she'll text me and be like, I haven't seen you in a while. Like, miss you. Are you okay? And I'm like, when's the last time I was at work? Like, when was the last time I was at the office? Because there's so many things in that, don't get done at home. And it's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I feel guilty, I always feel like I need to justify, maybe to my employees, like, well, I've got to go home. I've got to clean house. I've got to do my laundry. It's a beautiful day. I've got to get my yard work going, and I'm like,
you don't have to. Yeah.
Right.
Because you're in the position you're in. But I know it's like that guilty feeling.
Yes. You're never enough.
Yeah.
You can never be 100% in all the areas. So you just kind of do what you can and make it work.
And hope people have the grace to understand.
Right.
We've got a good team who I am only sure that like sometimes it does get annoying when I'm not here, especially when things are pressing. I try and tell them like, call me if you need me. But,
only because we like you around.
well, that's sweet. But still, it makes you feel like, oh my goodness, man. I know it's hard. It is just hard.
Yeah. And I'm like, I think that's really sometimes the only benefit of being a business owner is kind of having that flexibility with your schedule. Yeah. Because, it certainly isn't all the money I'm making or.
Yeah. It's funny how that flies out the window sometimes too. Man.
Hey, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, we were. I was telling them like our company, I'm constantly paying off our company credit card. It just, the minute I pay it off, magically $1,000 shows back up. And I'm like, what? And so it's just funny. Yeah. Funny is not the right word, but I don't know another word for it. But
exactly. Every month I'm like, okay, I made my rent this month. Yeah. I made my own pay, I'm good to go for 2 more weeks until it's due again.
Yeah. It always seems to be due faster and faster each month.
Oh, yeah. What do you think is the hardest part of being a business owner?
I think the stress of it, trying to make sure that the bills are paid. I don't come from money. I don't have any outside money, and I'm recently divorced, and so trying to support myself, my family, my pets, my home on a used bookstore income is very difficult. And sometimes I'm like, should I just go get a job at anywhere to where it's a guaranteed weekly paycheck, and that's certainly one of them. And then, like we said, just kind of the trying to be everything and do your best in every little corner of your world. Yeah. That's my biggest challenge.
A lot to take care of, just like all the time.
Yeah.
So you mentioned like you've had thoughts of like, maybe I should just give up and go somewhere else. What keeps you going? Why don't you just go get another job?
Because I don't actually want to do that. I love my bookstore. It's like my baby, and I'm so proud of it. And every time somebody comes in, they're like, oh, like what you said, I love the vibe here. It really, it just makes me so happy. And, and I know that I don't ever want to be stuck working in an office again, 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. I don't ever want that again. So I'm like, I'll do what I have to do to make this work.
Yeah.
Like
it works for you, and it seems like you just really care about the feeling and like the connection and everything of all of your customers and all the people there.
I really do. And my employees, they're all young, around my kids' age. And, I feel so motherly towards them. I love them, and they make me proud, whenever they tell me, whatever, something good going on in their lives. I'm like, oh, So
that's awesome.
I certainly feel an obligation to them, even though this may not be what they're doing even a year from now. I want them to be okay. And to, it makes me happy that they have a job that they like and that they can live on. And,
so. That's the true heart of a business owner, is when your employees are happy, nothing else matters.
Right.
Literally. I mean, okay, your clients and customers, they matter. Absolutely. But if you're not feeding your employees and you're not showing them you care and love, well, then your clients are going to see that too. 100%.
Right.
Unhappy employees make for unhappy and lost customers. So
Right.
good job on taking care of them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And this is Lubbock's only local bookstore, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's huge because, I mean, I'm sure that like places like Barnes & Noble and Second Charles take care of their employees and their customers, but like they don't have that level of care.
Right.
Like they just can't because
it's not theirs.
because it's a chain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just love that we have that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you are stewarding that for Lubbock. Just like a nice little community where you care about people. And I love books so much. Like I need to start going there more.
Yes. Come hang out with Wilbur. He'll be.
So how do you we were talking about how there's people who just like audiobooks and like everything's kind of digital now. How do you compete with that?
You know, I don't think you can compete with that. You just kind of have to. And I know that because I get people that still come in, they're like, well, I'm one of the few people left that likes to read a physical book. And it's like, well, not really. You know, most people do prefer the physical book, or I wouldn't be around, you know. Book millions of books wouldn't be printed every year if people weren't reading them and buying them. Like a lot of our book club members, you know, they do the audio. They don't read the physical book. And I mean, whichever way works better for you, really. I can't concentrate. I wish I could do audiobooks because then I could read twice as many books, but I can't concentrate well enough. When I'm listening, I have to be reading
Same.
it.
I
And other
literally
people
can't.
are the opposite. And I'm like, you know, you're reading, you know, it all comes out the same in the end, right? You absorb the information. And
maybe like a good chunk of us too, we realize we're on our phones and like there's screens everywhere all the time that are on. And so to turn that off and dive into something else that's relaxing, like my sweet oldest daughter, she puts herself to bed every night by reading. She loves to read, and that's her thing, and that relaxes her. And so it's a different escape from the world we live in today. So that's probably what also drives still a good chunk of people to come buy physical copies.
Definitely. And, you know, and they've kind of I personally don't do TikTok or anything, but it's made reading cool again for a lot of young people, which I think is wonderful. Even if I don't personally read the books that they recommend. Yeah. You know, whatever it takes to kind of get kids off the social media. And I feel like a boomer saying, get kids off their phones. But, you know,
but really.
To get them to do something different.
And stop killing our eyeballs. Like, stare at a screen. I saw a meme the other day that said, something like, it's really important to have a routine for your day. So that's why every single day at 10 a.m. I look at my phone for the rest of the day.
That's funny.
But yeah, like I'm always looking at screens, and I've tried reading books like on screens before, like the digital ones, and like I can't do it. It's like I can't see it. And I just love holding a physical book. Like there's something about it that feels good.
You're like ready to transport into it. Is that what you're waiting for?
Yeah.
What's that book that people jump into? What is that? They open the book and jump into it?
It's the great big book of everything with everything inside.
What is that book?
See the world around us.
It's a movie.
Oh.
No.
I'm talking about Stanley. That was a kids show when I was growing up. They had the great big book of everything, and they would jump inside of it. Yeah.
Maybe that's it. I don't know.
And he had a talking dog and fish and cat.
It's not ringing a bell.
Maybe we're thinking of
Maybe
something.
I stopped watching right when it happened because I was like not interested anymore. Do you ever have to order books, or is it just
I do. I order, you know, the book club books.
Okay.
And then occasionally, whenever it's an author that every day people are looking for, I'm like, okay, let's order some of these.
Like the popular thing I've been seeing, and I've not read any of her books, is it Colleen
Hoover?
Hoover.
Oh yes.
They're steamy.
I don't like steamy.
But like that's what all the girls are reading right now. That's all over my. Well, what does that say about me? Maybe it's just like all over my TikTok page. Is these steamy romance novels?
I don't I don't like romance at all. Like,
me neither.
I'm okay with it if there's like some love interest in the sci-fi books that I read, but
I don't do it.
I'm glad you like them.
I did.
Like,
I don't.
You don't?
I don't really read books.
Oh, yeah.
Though I don't have time. But I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna. No, I don't even like watching romantic comedies. Those are such a gag for me.
Same. Do you like rom-coms?
No.
Yes, we're in good company here today. No. I'm so sorry if you love rom-coms.
We're not your girls.
Happy for you if you love rom-coms.
But if you like horror and thrillers, hit us up.
Yeah,
that's what we've learned. Yeah,
we should start a horror movie club.
That'd be fun. We have actually thought about that in horror book club. Like maybe we should start picking books that have a movie and do a movie night.
And that would be so nice because you're not watching a movie by yourself or just with one other person, so it's like less freaky.
I don't like that.
Like you have a group of people to scream with.
That's a no for me. When it comes to watching them, I'm very picky these days about watching horror.
Well, me too.
Same. It's just kind of changed.
Yeah. Ever since I watched, who's the director that's been making like Hereditary and Midsommar?
The A24.
Yes. Ever since I watched Hereditary,
You're not okay.
I don't watch horror movies anymore very much.
Because they're not good enough compared to Hereditary?
They're horrible, but they're so good. Like, they're made so well that it messed with me.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think Hereditary is just like, got to be in the top 5.
It's made so well that
so good.
I would not recommend it. Like, please don't watch it.
Oh.
It messed me up for like weeks.
It's a great movie.
Signs messed me up. So
what did?
Signs.
I haven't seen that.
The Alien movie, M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah.
Oh, I like M. Night Shyamalan. This is more like thriller.
Not the horror. Alien movie. We're still terrified to this day. See. Okay.
Did you watch
the subject.
Did you watch Smile?
Oh, yes.
I liked that one.
That was good.
That one was a good blend of like really good horror movie that didn't mess with my brain too much, and I liked that one.
So what's it like reading horror books? Like, do you feel yourself getting anticipated? Like,
yeah, because I've never read a horror book.
I haven't either. What happens to you in horror
wish
books?
I still got scared, which my mother, she's always like, how are you my daughter? Because we're so opposite. She's very like prim and proper and, kind of traditional. But when I was like 7, I don't know why she had the Amityville horror, but she did, and she let me read it, and I was terrified. Like, I don't think I slept for like 2 nights because I was a little kid.
Yeah.
But that kind of started my love of horror. I don't get scared anymore at movies or books, but I still enjoy them.
Yeah, that's how I was, because I grew up watching horror movies from when I was a tiny kid, because I have like way older siblings, and so I'd watch horror movies with them, and so I was like, yeah, it's a horror movie, big whoop. And then I watched Hereditary and it ruined my life. Yeah. So you've been in this for a while now, 1.5 years. If someone is watching that is thinking about going into business, what do you think is the biggest advice you could give them before they start?
Oh, gosh. I would say, because for me, this is more of a passion for books. It was never, I'm a very simple person. I don't care about getting rich. I want to feed my family, pay my bills, have my garden. But beyond that, I'm just kind of like, I'm pretty easily pleased. And so it's hard for me to really give advice.
Well, I think that by itself is really good advice. Like, if you have a strong enough passion for what you're doing, like, you can do it, Like, you don't want to be a business owner and you're not trying to become a Fortune 500 company and become a billionaire, but, like, you are thriving because you're passionate about books. And, like,
just, like, enjoying life along the way.
Right.
Not having crazy goals to.
And basically, like, you have to care is the big thing, because, like, you are spending your whole life with all of this, like, juggling, and you have to put so much time into it, but, like, you do care.
Right. And it wouldn't work if I had, say, been working for a little boutique or something, just something that I'm personally not passionate about. And it was like, do you want to buy this store? I probably wouldn't have bought it. But if I had, I'd probably be kind of like, okay, I can't do this. But because it is something that I love and that I'm fascinated by, I'm just doing my best to make it work. And there's so many people that are also passionate about reading and books that's I guess why it's been working for a year and a half now.
That's awesome.
Obviously it wouldn't be without the support of Lubbock. We get a lot of New Mexico people that come to Lubbock for the doctor, for medical reasons, that come in, and so
yeah. So what's something you'll never compromise on in business?
You will never put weenie hot dog books
never
in your store.
Never.
Throw them out.
No books that smell like
Not
rotten
compromising
weenie
on
juice.
that.
I guess I haven't really run into anything that's my employees. I love my employees, and I won't let anybody come in and make them uncomfortable. If we're all women that work, just because that's how it's worked out. You're not going to come in and be creepy towards my young employees, because I'll make you leave.
Yeah.
Their
safety is huge.
Right. Right. Other than that, just because nothing's come up that I can think of that I can give you for an answer.
I think that is just kind of a testament to the vibe that you've created, though. Like, who's gonna come in and cause problems in this chill little bookstore with cats?
Right.
Yeah.
And luckily it's not really an issue. You hear horror stories about retail, and I have no doubt that they're all true. But a bookstore is just a totally different customer base, a different vibe.
Everyone just wants to be real chill.
Exactly.
I love that.
And I tell my employees, I'm like, if somebody, as long as they're nice about things, I don't mind you kind of working a little deal with them. But if they're rude to you, I'm not going to help them out. Exactly. You're not going to get a discount by being rude.
No, it's not how life works. You probably have not ever had a difficult time hiring or having to sadly fire anyone.
Not really.
Good.
No.
When you took over, was it like all the people that were already with you that just stayed, or did you have to hire new?
We had a very small crew when I took over, and so I did hire a couple of people, and I had some of the original people, and some of them have moved on, but I have hired new people, and they've worked out really, really well.
Good.
We all get along really well together. I mean, all of us really get along well, and so
shout out to your crew.
Very nice.
That's nice. Yeah, it is nice.
Do you have any funny stories? Like, has any mishaps or anything that have happened in the store?
Oh, I'm sure there's been plenty. Well, once Wilbur, he's a cat, and he wants to be admired and complimented, but sometimes from afar, and there's this little girl, she was probably like 3 or 4, and she'd never been around cats, so she was kind of scared. I was like, oh no, he's so sweet, he'll let you pet him. And she finally kind of reached out, and then he slaps her. And I was like, no, Wilbur, this is not how you win over a kid.
Wilbur heard you say that, and he said,
watch this.
Watch this.
Exactly. He's like, I am a cat. I am not sweet and friendly.
That's funny.
It was pretty
What
funny.
did she do? Was she just like taken aback, or?
She was totally taken aback and, kind of, like a little kid would do. She got slapped by the sweet, friendly cat that I encouraged her to pet. So I felt kind of bad about that. Hopefully she's gotten over her cat trauma. He didn't scratch her. It was just,
a
typical
he said,
cat
no thanks.
slap.
We're not today.
That's really funny.
He just knew she was going to pull his hair or something. Pull his tail, go for the eye.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what tiny kids do.
They don't know.
Yeah, and he has kind of learned that. He's like, okay,
He
if
said
you're
if
under
you're-
8,
yeah.
maybe
You're a certain
maybe
height.
you'll get slapped
Yeah.
if you try to touch.
That's really funny. I would love to have the honor of being slapped by Wilbur.
We can make that happen.
That's such
Definitely.
a weird thing to say.
I just think it's so funny at all ever when cats raise their paws. It's just funny looking.
Yeah.
They're just like,
Ready.
Oh yeah.
like,
And
what are you gonna
sometimes
do?
he and Charlotte, they'll kind of get a little feisty, but they're
They do the
totally
thing
in
where they're like-
slow mo. It's like, is this in live time or?
Do you
love
guys
watching that.
actually slow down to fight like this?
that's the best.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Thank
thank
y'all.
you.
This has
Thank y'all
been
very
the
much.
best. I'm so excited. I'm excited to just go there more.
Well, good. I hope you do.
And
So, yeah, how do people get a hold of you and contact you?
You can reach us through Facebook Messenger, Instagram, email. I don't have a business phone for the reason that we would be answering the phone all day long. Do you have this book? Do you have that book? You know,
And your storefront is located
4206 50th,
Okay.
just east of Quaker.
Awesome.
Yeah.
stop when you see the cats.
They'll be outside welcoming you in or inside
Or
waiting for
looking
you to
out
come
the
in.
window at you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Cool.
I like it.
Thank you, Kelly.
for being
Well, thank y'all very much. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
This was good.
Thank you.
Woo. That's a wrap. She is taking care of the local Lubbock book scene. But, like, what's a word for that? Thanks for watching this episode of the Stay Focused podcast.
You can find more episodes wherever you listen to podcasts.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you want more bonus content, you can join our Patreon.
Remember that your story matters, so stay focused.